What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Chef Kev, and this is the I Am CEO podcast. So, look, I want to jump into letting you guys know, in case those are new to the podcast, you guys don't know. My name is Chef Kev. I'm a personal and private chef. Also, studying to be a nutritionist as well. I said studying to be. I am a nutritionist. But also, I work with all different clients, whether it be athletes, whether it be doctors, whether it be lawyers, CEOs. But my passion is for the CEO. The reason why I started this podcast is because I'm a CEO. But I have a passion for CEOs, and I love to not just help CEOs, but I always like to see us win. And when I mean us, I am discussing the CEO, the business owner, the one who's struggling to find his way, the one that's trying to figure out what is it that I need to do to make money? How do I become successful? Or how do I make an impact? So that's why I started this. And this topic, because I don't have a guest today, so it's just me. This topic that I'm going to talk about today is called Faith Over Fear, Living Life Fearlessly. You got to embrace faith as your guide. And I'm not the one that's going to sit up here and talk about the universe. And I'm talking about real faith, faith in God, faith in the one who gave you the idea, faith in the one who told you this is what you need to be doing. So many times I've gotten people and ran across people in my life that told me that I had a calling on my life, that I have something in me. And sometimes when you hear that over and over, you don't know what that means or how to bring it out. But one thing I have always done is live my life fearlessly. That's just all I know. I know one or two things. Either I'm going to do or I'm not. And God has always taught me to trust him. You have to literally not just say I have faith, not just say you live fearlessly, but you have a little bit of action behind it. And I preference little because you do not, and when I say you do not have to have this level of enormous faith to just start. But you do have to have a lot of faith to be successful. So I'm going to go back to 2008. Living in Kansas City. Born and raised, that's where I'm from. Let it not be misunderstood. I am born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. Raised around some amazing athletes, killers, gangsters, you name it. But I was raised by a man by the name of Kevin Winston Sr. Kevin Vanderford Winston Sr., my father. I'm only giving him his flowers in this moment. We may not have the best, amazing relationship, but what he has taught me in the past is to live fearlessly. Meaning, when I seen my father, and I'll get back to 2008 real quick. When I seen my father work, particular jobs over and over again, he would always find his way to get fired. Whatever that situation happened for him to do that, he know what it was. I'm not gonna put his business out there, but I never seen him quit. Not quit a job, but I've never seen him quit doing what he believed in. So he wanted to start this business called KV Windows, and he kept talking about this business, and he would bring me along with him, and we would be washing windows. And if anybody who knows my father knows that he's a hustler. So we would be washing these windows for executives, rich, wealthy, some business owners, I mean, prominent business in Kansas City. I mean, he was washing windows for Ali Gates and Nieces and all these places. If you are from Kansas City, you know what those places are. But I said all that to say he taught me how to live fearlessly by being a starter, not a talker. By being a starter. He wanted to run a business, started a business from scratch. He took himself to Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever. He picked up all this equipment, had his ladder, had his truck. And there was days we make thousands of dollars in one day. He would pay me like a couple hundred. But for me as a child, that was great. So I took that experience, and let's fast forward to 2008. That was my childhood. I'm not here for therapy. 2008, I moved from Kansas City, Missouri. And this is a true statement. I'm not lying. You can fact check this. $250. $250. I wasn't even driving my own car. I was driving a car that a friend of mine helped co-sign. I ain't gonna put her out there, but I wasn't in the best place of my life to make this jump. But during this time, I was working in music industry, Atlantic Records, all these different places, and a guy by the name of Bob Sumner, shout out to you, Bob. Bob was the founder and executive producer of Def Comedy Jam. We were talking and he said, hey, Kev, love what you do, man. Why don't you come out here to LA, man? I got some stuff I'm working on. At that time, we were working on One Mic Stand. Kevin Hart was the host. It was kind of like a reprise of Comic View. All the comedians were going to be on there. And basically, Bob's job was a producer and talent scout, something I wanted to do. So I moved out to LA. That opportunity exposed me to being on set with BET, having all access, just being in the mix. But nobody knew, including myself, that opportunity was for free. I moved into a home with a roommate by the name of Chris Wood. Thank you, Chris, for helping me during that time and just helping me with that jump. He had a home. He was living in Hawthorne, California, which is basically Inglewood, the hood. And it was like, hey, man, this is how much you got to pay. This is how much I need. You can stay here, but this is how much is going to be required. You ain't got to worry about everything else, but pay this rent. So I was doing that and staying out till 3 a.m. But I said all that to say, during that time, it was an extreme sacrifice to just jump. My family were like, why are you moving to LA? Like, why would you do that? It was something that was in me. I always wanted to be in Hollywood. Changed my entire life. Moved there, was still working for Atlantic Records. I ended up getting an internship with Pookie Wigginton, which happens to be the pretty much president of Heartbeat Productions. Shout out to you, Pookie. His real name is Leland. But he runs Kevin Hart's enterprise, his production, his all of that. So I was working for him and Kevin, and I was doing a lot of, at that time I was an intern, like doing all his Facebook posts, sending messages to people. We were promoting chocolate sundaes. I mean, I was doing my karaoke nights. It was crazy, like the amount of things that I was doing, but I went out there all based off of having faith in myself and faith in God that when I got there, I was going to be okay. But nobody told me that moving there would put me in a position at one point to become homeless. There was a moment, and it was a short period of time, but I was literally living in so if you got the 18-wheelers, they have those crew cabs. And on set, we were on set of the Tony Rock show. Shout out to you, my dude, Tony Rock. They put me on as a production assistant. I was doing a lot of gigs. And my job was basically just being a runner, getting stuff done, whatever people needed, coffee, craft services, you name it. But nobody knew during this time. I couldn't get back and forth to where I live because I was going to Four Seasons at the production studio, and I lived way across town, so I had to take a cab to get there. And the gig was for the entire week. So I stayed there the whole week, but I was living in the truck and nobody knew because I had my rollaway bag and they just thought I was leaving when I was going home. But I would wait till everybody leave and I would sneak in the truck and I was sleeping there, wake up, go in the hotel to the bathroom that was public, wash up, and go to work. Nobody knew that I was living there every single day. I changed clothes. I brought enough clothes. And that was a hustle time. That was a struggle time. But it was all because I had faith in myself. Fast forwarded, at that time, so many other opportunities presented themselves. 2010 or 2009, I got the opportunity to go to Le Cordon Bleu Paris in Pasadena. And I knew I could cook. I didn't know how to cook professionally, but I knew I can cook. And I got a call. There was a call. I was in culinary school. I was spending almost $600 a month because it was expensive. It's $55,000 a year for Le Cordon Bleu. It was not a game. I got a call from a friend in Kansas City. His name is Earl Watson, an NBA player. During that time, he was going through a divorce and he needed a chef. So that is my introduction into becoming a chef. Earl Watson gave me my first gig. He was paying me $150 a day. He knew I was coming out of culinary school, but my buddy Brooks introduced me and said, yo, I know my bro can be blah, blah, blah. So when Earl hit me, I pulled up and I was literally like green. I didn't know nothing. So I jumped. I said all of those stories to say, in your life, there is a point in time where you have to take time and make a decision and say, you know what? I'm not just going to trust the normal. I'm not going to trust being comfortable. I'm going to trust God and just live fearlessly. So if there's anything that you took out of what I was talking about and how I explained those stories, I talked about a lot in a very short period of time, is I want you to take from that, fear and faith have the same thing in common. They both are looking for the same thing. So fear, it's looking for a negative outcome. Faith is looking for a positive outcome, but it's linear. They are the same thing, but in total different directions. They're totally opposite, but they're the exact same thing because it takes the same energy to have faith as it does to have fear. And if it's anybody out there that is having that hard time and saying, you know what, I fear if I start this business, I will lose. I fear if I quit my job or not quit your job, but just start this business on the side, that I'm not going to be successful. Let me tell you this. From 2008 to 2024, I have failed numerous times. I've gotten a felony. I have been let go. I have been fired. I have been hired. I have started my businesses. I failed over a dozen times. But what I will tell you, I never gave up. So look, live fearlessly, guys. This is I Am CEO podcast. I want you guys to do me a favor. Go like and subscribe and follow us on social media. I Am CEO podcast on Instagram. I Am CEO podcast on Twitter. And at Chef Kev for real on Instagram and X as well. I said Twitter, but you know what it is. Like and subscribe. Share this. Go to our YouTube at Chef Kev Winston, at Chef Kev for real. And make sure y'all share this with somebody else, because there's somebody out there who is struggling with trying to figure out, am I living in fear or am I living by faith? It's really up to you. It's just the same energy. Put the energy into living by faith instead of staying in fear. I will check you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. I'll check with y'all later. Peace out.